Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. We are starting our very first episode of Nerdsmith Presents The Copper Pyramid, which is an eldritch adventure set in the 1950s, in which I'm going to do terrible, terrible things to our lovely players. My name is Ran. I'll be your game master or storyteller for this campaign, which we're expecting will be about 7 to 8 episodes long, it being a limited run. And we are playing in Fundamental RPG, which is a system designed by one of our lovely players, Raven. So, with that said, let's get started. Go ahead and do our player introductions.
First, hi, I'm Jenny. You guys have probably seen me on Fridays on Dragon's Crown. I use she, they pronouns. I am currently playing Edith. Who is a spunky up-and-coming journalist who has been itching to go on a real adventure. So I'm really excited to play.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I usually play on a vampire game, and I'm going to be playing Esmira. She has she, her pronouns. She is a pilot who is very much convinced that the world is a spookier place than most people think.
Awesome. I'm Raven. I use she, Faye pronouns, and this evening I am playing Dick Jones, who is absolutely an American private detective and not a Soviet spy. I don't know why anyone would even bring up spy. It's absolutely ridiculous. Definitely American private investigator. And they go by she, they pronouns.
I am Vexomniari. I use he, they pronouns. And I am playing Delphi, who is a mortician and taxidermist, who is of the pastel goth persuasion, also of the gay persuasion. And she is just along for the ride, here to have some fun, maybe find some dead things, offer some medical attention.
Fantastic. So before we get started, I'm going to quickly shout out our sponsors today. So we have Die Hard Dice for all of your dice and dice-related accessories. You get 10% off your entire purchase using the link that's in the chat. We have Hero Forge, which is the internet's home for custom miniatures. Recently, they came out with a new face customizer, which is really cool. Check out the affiliate link in the chat. Let them know that we sent you. And finally, we have World Anvil, which I've used myself. It's really cool. Fully customizable world building and campaign tool. You can use it for tabletop RPG campaigns, organizing for NaNoWriMo if you are suffering the way I am suffering this month. All sorts of really great resources there. The link in the chat brings you to the world of Veil, which is Nerdsmith's homebrew setting, which I know nothing about, but sounds really cool. So before we get started, once again, I'm Ran. I use he, him pronouns. And we're going to open this very cinematically. So the year is 1954. It is sort of late summer in the northern hemisphere, so we're talking around August, the beginning of September, and the news that is on everyone's lips, the stuff that's coming off the radio hot and ready to go, the occasional TV broadcast for those of us who are better off and can afford a TV, is that there has been a mysterious island that has suddenly rose out of the South Pacific, out of nowhere. And it being the height of the Cold War, everyone really wants to get to this island as fast as possible, put down a flag, claim it in the name of their country, and hopefully set up some kind of nuclear missile base on it so that they can threaten the people who also wanted that island. That said, none of you are particularly affiliated with any military, which is great. We love that. Instead, you have all been contacted by a private venture capitalist who has hired each of you in various roles to head to that island in the hopes of putting a private claim on it and then selling it on to whichever state bids the highest. With that said, we are going to kick off with our pilot. So, Esmira Lopez, you are having just arrived at the airplane, my brain is completely blanked on the word for a takeoff area, but that's fine. So you and your co-pilot, Luke, are getting ready with your small charter air flight to take a group of 3 other passengers, or actually 6, down to a boat that is waiting in the South Pacific that was closest to that island. So you're going to take this slightly amphibious aircraft over to that boat, and the boat will take you and the rest of your passengers the last distance to this mysterious island, where you're going to do, you're not entirely sure what. So what's Esmera getting up to as she's loading this airplane, getting ready to go?
So Esmera's loading probably luggage, actually, and doing some last-minute safety checks on the outside while Luke is doing the internal checks, and seeing who's arriving and boarding the ship. Yeah,
Go
so
right ahead.
basically doing the safety checks, putting in what we need, loading the luggage, kind of staying out of the way and letting Luke take the lead for this part as everyone arrives.
Great. And do you think we could get a quick physical description of Esmera?
So Esmera is actually fairly short. She's not slim, she's got an athletic build, but she is Hispanic, dark hair. She is missing an eye. One eye is not gone, but completely whited out, and there is very clear scar on that eye. Dresses very, very much in practicality. She doesn't dress like woman of the time at all, and dark-skinned, fairly pretty.
Great. Okay, so our first passenger who is going to be arriving here, Vex, would you like to introduce your character?
I would love to. So Delphi is fairly short, standing around 4'11" to maybe 5 feet if we're being generous. She has pastel blue hair that's been dyed and is done up with bangs and two braids going down in front. She is dressed to the nines in pastel goth. You have sort of a what is it called? I just had the word. Words are not our strong suit today. But she has like a little witch hat going on. She is fairly pale with a little smattering of freckles, icy blue eyes. You could probably tell she based her hair color off of her eye color, because she's that sort of person. Rockabilly. It's a rockabilly dress. That's the word I'm looking for. And she has a lovely, sweet smile on as she is boarding the plane.
Okay. And accompanying her is a man in his mid to late 40s, Japanese descent, probably very serious looking, wearing sort of the exact thing that you would expect a man of this era to be wearing for this sort of thing. So a very plain sort of dark grey suit. The tie is done up tightly. He's got a single suitcase of luggage as opposed to... How many suitcases is Delphi bringing for this theoretically 2-week-long trip?
Probably 5.
Okay. So you see this man as he puts his suitcase and 2 of Delphi's that he was carrying down next to Esmera, and he goes like, would you like a hand with that? I know that you probably weren't expecting quite this much luggage.
I can handle loading it on the plane, but is she aware she's gonna have to carry this when we get there?
I feel like that's a lesson that she will learn quickly and sharply on our arrival, miss. And he sort of nods his head to you and then heads over and sort of gives Delphi a hand up the rickety little staircase that takes you up into this tiny little Cessna-type plane.
She steps
It is
quite
not-
delicately.
It is not a delicate loading. It is literally like grab the bag, put it in, look at it, shove, 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 hit them with the elbow, get it in there, next bag.
And you hear from up in the cockpit, you see Luke sort of poking his head out the back. And Luke is a fairly handsome man, around the same age as Esmera. Dark hair, dark eyes, sort of very stereotypical, like, handsome Latin fellow. And you hear him call out to you, and he goes sort of like, "You're all set back there? Do you need an extra hand, or are you good?"
I got it. She responds in Spanish. She's like, I got it, I got it. Did you see how many bags this one brought?
I was told that she'd have a large luggage allowance, but no, they didn't say that many.
Except
Well,
like I'm guessing there's a little makeup bag, and so is there a little makeup bag? Like, what do you fit in this?
There are several. There's also a lot of medical supplies.
The medical supplies get held delicately, but the makeup bag gets picked up, and it's this look of, what do you even put in something this small? Shoes? Aye. And puts it in.
Is that a hat box back there? Damn. And then Luke sort of heads back into the airplane as Delphi and her assistant, friend, you're not really sure where he falls in the hierarchy, take their seats inside the plane. The next person to arrive, Raven, would you like to describe your character?
Sure. So Dick Jones looks fairly just on the femme side of androgynous is pretty much how they carry themselves. Like white t-shirt, sometimes a black leather jacket. She does like cute hats, like she enjoys that, but only has like maybe one or two in her backpack, which is all of her luggage. And they look like you would imagine an American private detective to look like, but almost too much, to where, like, I don't know if cosplay was actually a thing in the 50s, but if it was, you'd wonder, like, are they cosplaying a detective or are they actually one?
So it looks like Dick watched a lot of Dick Tracy movies and was like, yes. That. Exactly. That. And accompanying her is another older man. This one sort of in his early to mid 50s. Sort of looks like his face is always slightly downturned, like he's just displeased with life in general. Neatly combed, graying dark hair. Also wearing a suit, but you can tell that he's wearing like sensible hiking boots rather than like dress shoes. And he is muttering something under his breath as the two of them make their way down the runway to where the plane is loading up. I almost called it a boat there, but you're not at the boat yet. Oh, yes, yet another new arrival.
Esmira will like take their bags as they arrive. Have you also got the luggage train?
No. Dick just has a backpack, like a large backpack, and that's it.
Fantastic. So grab the backpacks and shove them in the undercarriage of the plane. Nice to see you. You're welcome to board.
Oh, yes, thank you. We'll go and get on board the plane. They say very awkwardly and kind of like try to scoot by, but it's like they have no spatial awareness, so it's really awkward how they scoot up onto the plane.
She is just excited because this is the first time she has been on a plane, the older man says. In sort of this accent that's really difficult to place. Like, it's not American, it's not particularly European, like it's just like a generic voice, almost.
Well, it is an exciting time for her then. But like as you do that shuffling thing, you kind of eyeballed as you shuffle with this look of, what are you shuffling around?
Nothing. I'm really excited. I've never been in an airplane before, so I don't know how to act. You
can relax. It's a casual flight, and take a window seat. You'll enjoy it.
Thank you so much. Window, yes. I'm just gonna go over there to the window.
No, your other right. We are turning right.
Right. Yes. This
and you just see the man just sort of turn Dick and like guide them past. Then Luke comes down out of the plane and says, right, last passenger, we're going to need to get the ramp out, so hope you haven't put too many bags in front of it.
Damn it. All right.
All right, I'll give you a hand.
Take out. Grab the ramp. Set it up.
All right, and last but certainly not least.
So Edith is going to wheel herself over. She is definitely the shortest out of the group, not in terms of physical height, but in terms of she's sitting constantly. So she is wheeling over with a wheelchair. She's got one small kind of almost briefcase looking suitcase tucked under her chair and then a backpack on the back, and that is all she has. She's dressed as the usual 1950s girl that you'd see in movies and that kind of thing. She's kind of unassuming, very sweet looking. And the first thing that she does when she finally gets to see Ismira, she holds her hand out from her chair and just, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Edith. Ian Conrad with the New York Times. I am very excited. Very, very, very excited.
And then shortly behind her, another woman approaches, sort of older, early 40s, a bit of a careworn face, so she's clearly spent a lot of time out in the sun and the elements. Wearing trousers, which is very practical for a woman of this era, a button-up shirt, and she's just got the one sort of, the old vintage suitcase with handle with a bunch of stamps and stickers all over it. And she doesn't even bother putting it down. She just sort of loads it into the back where the rest of the luggage is clearly being loaded. Nods to the group of Luke and Esmira who are getting everything sorted on the plane. Leans down to whisper into Edith's ear and just sort of goes, I'll just go on ahead and find a good space. Maybe see if we need to move someone so you can sit up the front.
Whatever you need to do. Don't worry about it.
Puts a hand on her shoulder and hops up into the plane.
Esmira will reach out and shake your hand when you offer it, and as your companion loads her bag, is very quietly in Spanish, I like her. And it's do you need help getting up the plane? We have the ramp set up.
I can do that myself. You don't need to worry about that.
But she will stand by and just watch as you go up the ramp to make sure you're okay going up. Honestly, the fear of you rolling backwards.
She actually turns around and backs up the ramp, since it's easier with the big wheels rather than the little wheels.
And then disassemble ramp back up, start the luggage train back in, and shove everything back in. There's a little problem with the hat box. The hat box does not fit, so ends up closing it and kind of hucks the hat box into the main compartment before pulling the doors closed.
Gonna chuck it onto the tarmac. Just screw this box.
Box can be thrown around. It's tough. It's fine.
Delphi would be heartbroken to lose 3 of her hats.
Truly. Bold of you to assume there's not 5 somehow shoved into this one box.
Oh, I assume the rest were in the other hat box.
Well, granted.
So we're going to do a little bit of a cut to Indiana Jones style. We see the map with the dotted line and the little airplane as it flies out of. First, you go from East Coast to West Coast, refuel, West Coast to Hawaii, refuel, and then you end up. So you guys have quite a bit of time to talk as this flight goes on, because you guys have been in the air for quite some time by the time you get to the point where you're going to be landing. So Luke and Esmira have been sort of taking shifts on who is doing the main flight and taking their breaks where they can. And as you guys are approaching the area where you're going to be meeting up with this ship, Esmira, you are on a break. You're in the main cabin with the rest of the party. What's everyone talking about?
The first thing that Edith does when everyone gets settled and sits down is figures out what everyone's name is, what their occupation is, anything that they want to share about themselves. And she is just scribbling in this very, very loved notebook, as she's just kind of getting as much base information as she can while they're, just flying.
Dick has pulled their camera out, and is kind of leaning over to the person that she's with, and go like, "So do I take their pictures now while we're on the plane, or should I be like in the back, like in the shadows, so they can't see me? Like, how does this work?"
Well, perhaps we all take a photo together to mark this momentous occasion, yes? What do we all think? Says the man speaking up. I apologize, I did not introduce myself earlier. I am John Sullivan. I am the assistant here, but I do a lot of management. How do we all feel about a picture before, we land, and there's the business of moving from plane to boat, and then, there will be sailors and many things happening.
Oh, please, let me take the picture for you so that you can be in it as well.
Oh, no, I don't need to be in the picture. I just, want a souvenir so I can remember everybody's faces.
Then we should all get pictures together. I mean, I'd love a copy of it, considering that I'm going to be writing about this entire thing, so it would be really nice to have some pictures to go along with it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You are a reporter? Would we have read your work before?
Ian Conrad, New York Times.
Oh, yes, I read your story about the scandal that was happening on Broadway 2 years ago.
Yes, that's quite an old story, though. I've been working on some other ones since then.
Apologies. An old man, I love the theater, the dancing, the singing. His face is entirely blank and still, like, very negative looking as he says this. It's like, yes, the theater. I love it so.
Really? What's your favorite show?
That new Cole Porter one. The one with the girls and the legs, and yes.
That's
very
most
good.
Cole Porter shows, but...
Yes, just so. Let's take a photograph.
Yes, picture. Picture sounds great. Sorry, my assistant can be a bit long-winded sometimes, but it's all well-intentioned. Would you like to take a picture, John?
I promise
that
you
way,
won't bash my ears. I talk too much myself.
Get in there.
Certainly. And he will take the camera from you, move up to the head of the plane, and sort of usher everyone in to take a photograph.
And Dick gets to sort of like towards the back in the middle, and she still has like sunglasses on and the hat, so she's trying really hard not to be recognizable in the photograph.
As Delphi gets settled, like in with this photograph, she makes sure that no one's behind her very large hat. She makes sure everyone's gonna get an equal shot. She actually kind of like very lightly starts posing people, very like with like small pokes, small prods, just okay, and you'd look a little better like that, and we could get the light a little better if you do this, and your face would be more visible if we did this. Like making sure everyone is as visible as possible.
I love her.
Esmira is distinctly uncomfortable in this photo. Esmira would really rather not be in the photo, but hey.
I assume you have to usher Dick out from behind your hat about 6 times.
Yes. It's just like a slow lean, like she sees where the hat is, and it's just sort of like a.
As the lean happens, it's like a gentle and back out of behind that.
So there's just a slow
time.
Lean back with an uncomfortable look on her face, just like.
And it's kind of like a metronome we got going on until the photo is taken. As you like dip behind Delphi, whenever you do, she smells fairly nice. She smells of vanilla with the underlying scent of formaldehyde.
Nice.
The vanilla wins out most of the time.
That's good.
80% vanilla, 20% formaldehyde.
And there's a little bit of something else you're not quite sure of.
If Dick is all the way in the background, definitely going to like try to motion to her assistant, if you will, just sort of like this one. watch this one sort of motion.
And after these pictures are taken, and there's a little bit more chat, your friend, Dr. Dazai, Delphi, will lean forward and ask, "So I know for what purpose Delphinia and I have been hired. We are here to take some scientific samples upon the island, and also, of course, to provide..." And he sort of looks down at the map. He goes, "Yes, we are probably in international waters by now, to provide medical care when necessary. For what purpose have each of you been hired on this expedition?"
I have a quick question about the way that you said that. Are you
Yes.
making a point of the fact that we're in international waters because some of your medical practices aren't legal?
No, they're very legal.
In international waters, specifically?
They're very legal in very many places. It is simply a matter of the times and the facts that in America, I mostly practice other scientific pursuits, but I am a fully licensed medical doctor. A pleasure to meet you. My name is Dr. Dazai, and he leans forward with a firm handshake.
She'll absolutely shake his hand. It's wonderful to meet you. I apologize for all the questions. I'm not judging in any way. I love learning information, especially about people.
Of course. No, if you're particularly interested, I undertook my medical license at Osaka University back in 1933. So I have quite some experience regarding both medicine in various countries, including the United States.
He's been kind enough to actually take me on as his apprentice as of recently. Well, strongly as of recently. I think I've been his apprentice for longer than I care to admit.
It's really interesting. I was a candy striper for a little while, so it would be really cool to learn anything that you know. I probably can't help out medically as much as anyone else, but I can patch some people up.
Perfect.
It is always useful to have a second assistant, as I will say, and sort of just gently pats Delphi on the shoulder as if in a like, "But you're my favorite. You're still my favorite, though," kind of a way without saying anything.
Well, hopefully there won't need to be much patching done. As far as I know, we're probably in the lead for the race for this island. There were no other flights planned out that we could see.
To answer your question about what each of us are doing here, I was sent by the New York Times to come cover this story. So I'm going to be getting as much information as I can, both about the island itself and our expedition. Let me know if you don't want anything included. I try my best not to out anyone for anything.
"What a refreshing young lady," says John, from where he's like winding back the camera.
Dick is still just nervously smiling at the camera, even though the picture has already been taken.
The camera's now facing the wrong way. Like, he's got it down here. He's like doing the old-fashioned wind back.
She's very nervous. She does notice the investigative questioning, though, and just kind of looks over at the interaction and goes, "Your conversations are very investigative. Where did you study to learn how to ask all these interesting questions of people?"
You're asking Edith?
Yes, sorry.
Well, it just kind of comes from the journalism thing. I was a writer for the school paper, and then it kind of just took off from there. So after graduating high school, I moved on to start writing little things for myself. I sold my articles, and then eventually I got picked up by the New York Times. So just practice, I guess. I'm decently good at talking to people, and I try to be trustworthy, so I guess that works.
Yeah, we had a newspaper at my school too, but none of the students really got to write it so much. It's kind of boring, really. But anyways, that's fascinating. Thank you for the information.
I'd love to hear more about your old school paper if you ever want to talk about it.
Perhaps another time.
And again, if you don't want me writing anything, just let me know. I do try to make sure that I don't ruin anything for anyone.
Perhaps depending on how things go on the island, we of course are here to investigate a disappearance. So there was a disappearance in the area where this island cropped up, and so we're hoping to find the person we're looking for on the island. So maybe don't mention anything about that unless we actually find them, because family privacy and all.
Did they disappear on the island?
I don't think the island was there yet when they disappeared, so we're hoping that maybe that's where they're going to be.
Boat or ship?
Oh, they were on a boat.
Sorry, boat or plane.
Oh, I knew what you meant. Didn't even dawn on me. It just, my brain auto-translated. I knew exactly what you meant. But yes, boat. And so that's, why we're going to the island.
At that point, you hear the little intercom radio turn on, and you hear Luke's voice say, "We will be descending. Please make sure that all of your seatbelts are fastened, and if you have a drink open, finish it, because it's going to be bumpy." And the plane starts to go down. Looking out the windows, you can see up ahead, not the sort of like vaguely military-esque ship that you were probably expecting, but rather a very long and very expensive-looking yacht. Sort of like all polished wood, gorgeous big white sails, and on the side, written in sort of beautiful golden script, it says the Dionysus.
Of course it does. So Esmera will kind of make her way back to the cockpit as soon as the announcement happens. Buckle in.
So, how strange are they?
How?
How strange are they? I mean, they look weird.
I cannot imagine a group you want to take to an island less than this.
Great. So it's going to be a fun 2 weeks. And he kind of just leans over and bumps your shoulder.
None of them makes sense. He like bumps back and he's kind of just grins at him and go, "Well, it's going to be your job to help keep them alive."
Hey, yours too. You better be doing half the work if you want half the pay.
Hey, you wrangled me into this. I am taking the second seat with some of these. Apparently a boat went missing near the island.
A boat? That doesn't make any sense.
One of them's looking for a missing person who was on a boat.
Okay, yeah, maybe. Weird. Would you like to give me our first roll of the game? I'm going to get you to make a piloting check. So that's going to be nimbleness. So in Fundamental RPG, you roll a d20, you add your score in a skill, and if you have any training or professions that would be relevant, so I believe you have piloting training, that will also be added to your d20 roll.
27.
27. All right. So the landing is far smoother than the radio announcement said that it would be.
Okay.
You come into a easy coast of a stop next to the ship on the sort of flotation equipment that this little plane has. And just in time as well, because Esmera, looking at the fuel, you did not have much left at all. You just got it in time. But the plane is safely landed, and you guys can get off and then get straight on to a different boat. there's a group of sailors on this yacht. Like, it's the sort of size where they need a crew of 6 to 8 people. And a sort of middle-aged man, maybe late 40s, early 50s. Very sort of stylish for the time. He's got sort of the flicked back hair, the one curl in front, vaguely like Clark Kent-ish. Dark hair, dark eyes, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, will be leaning down to sort of help you all up onto the boat. Not too difficult, but
As we're getting off the boat, Ismira will swing down to, I'm guessing it's a pontoon style if we're sitting on the water, to like kind of stand half on that, half on the ladder, unclip, and start passing baggage up to the sailors.
Yeah. So yeah, you can tell there's like a small group, 6 to 8 crew on board. But when you get up onto the deck of the ship, you're greeted by the captain, who is a man in maybe his late 60s, graying hair, sort of very stereotypical. Like, he's wearing like the dark blue jacket, the white peaked hat, the whole 9 yards. As you come aboard, he shakes each of your hands, says, good business, good business. When Mr. Harrington contacted me regarding it, I said I was very happy to move out of Singapore early and make a trip this way. So I hope that you find the accommodations to your satisfaction. It's only about 2 hours on to the island, which, as far as I'm aware, hasn't got a name yet, so perhaps that's something we should be thinking about, eh? And taps his nose. Yeah, very much that sort of jovial but patronizing kind of air to him.
Delphi steps up towards the captain, very, very delicate, very dainty, as she steps up. Oh, this is going to be a bash, isn't it? I am so excited. I've never been quite this far out before. I don't know what to expect. Oh, you all seem so lovely. Hello, I'm Delphi.
And yes, he will kiss the back of your hand. Say, when they mentioned that we would be having a few ladies join us, I didn't realize that we would be having a swell dame like yourself on board. But please make yourselves comfortable, and my men will make sure that we get to the island toot sweet. I'm afraid I must be getting back to the helm. Does a little, like, small bow and heads back up to the wheel at the back of the ship. And again, you are left mostly unsupervised, except for a bunch of sailors who are staring at you with a sort of, I was expecting a different kind of group of people sort of a look on their faces.
But there is a vibe between the sailors and Ismira in that look. There is a very strong vibe. But like literally as we get up, each of your luggage is kind of put at your feet. And like the backpacks are handed over. Delphi, you have a pile placed in front of you. The hat box is a little bit beaten up, but it's okay. It's not like super damaged. And Ismira grabs her small backpack and Luke's and hands it to him as they board as well.
You are quite the smooth talker, Delphi, aren't you?
Well, I just like people, and people seem to like me in return. What can I say?
You're gonna have these sailors on the hook. Absolutely.
Oh, you think so?
Absolutely.
Perfect. We can play cards later. That'll be fun. Did you want to join?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to play cards? If the sailors play cards.
Absolutely, sure. I'm not very good at it. I never really learned, but I'd love to try.
Perfect. Neither did I. I actually don't know how to play. Let's go. We'll grab the others.
Okay. Oh God, she's adorable. I feel terrible for the things I'm going to do.
That's what you're supposed to do in games like these. If you're gonna fuck our characters up, we're gonna make them so lovable.
So while they're having that conversation, Dick has pulled out a small notepad and is writing some things down. And when there's like a lull, they'll kind of lean in and be like, I just have one question. I didn't think the island we were going to had a name. the captain said we're going to Island Tootsuite. Do you know how you spell that?
Tootsuite means as soon as possible.
As soon as possible island. That's a strange name for an island.
No. It means that we're hitting there without delay.
Oh, right. An idiom. That's the word. Yes, that. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna go over here now. And they just start walking off.
Okay.
I'm just picturing like Dick moving off and leaning against a railing next to a couple of sailors, and the sailors like looking at her, and then moving like 2 feet off in a different direction.
Oh, she's so awkward.
As you head off, Esmira, be like, it's okay. I English is my second language too.
Oh no! I grew up in America. I don't even have a second language. She says, looking around nervously.
American person. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I grew up in a small town. It's kind of its own little world.
What state did you grow up in?
And Dick just looks at John with like this panic
Nebraska.
expression on her face. Yes, Nebraska. That's a very small town, sort of in the middle part of Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yes.
Trust me, I understand small town life. I grew up in Connecticut. I always take the train up to New York, but it's tiny there.
Yes. It's the second smallest state. Correct?
Sorry?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. I thought you meant Nebraska, and I said no.
Oh, no. Because Nebraska is very, and they're just moving their hands back and forth as to try to, like, put scale to it.
Thankfully, as you are doing this, you hear someone from sort of a little bit afar say, "We can see it! It's on the horizon!" And I'll get all of you to make a sight check.
Wonderful.
I kind of want to build this and look on the other side of the boat.
I forgot the dice system.
11.
So it's a D20, and then add your skill under sight.
Thank you.
I got a 7.
I got 11.
17. Which is surprising, because I only have a +1.
At least one of us can see.
I got
What's out
17.
there.
What was that? Sorry, Bex?
We're twinning!
Okay. So, Dick is too busy panicking about trying to remember where and what Nebraska is, which they definitely know because they're from Nebraska.
Yes.
And I assume Esmira is busy having a conversation with Luke in Spanish about how weird all of these people are, and maybe they can just hang out with the sailors for the next 2 weeks.
It's on my blind side.
That too, yeah, makes it difficult. But Delphi and Edith, both of you will spot, following the pointing finger of the man who saw the island on the horizon, a little dark smudge. Right now, it's not too obvious as to the shape or size of the island, but you're sure that over the next 10-15 minutes, it will start to get clearer and clearer. And in fact, at about this time, I think we will put the player map up on the screen so you guys can see the shape of the island and figure out where you want to come at it from. So you guys are coming from the south, but you guys are going to pick where your landing area is going to be.
Oh, that's a cool map.
I'm so afraid.
I'm thinking like the southwest. Like that little like bay right there might be kind of good.
I think that's probably our best bet.
Agreed.
You just want to go closer to where your picture is.
Oh, it is my. Wasn't even paying attention.
What kind of beach
The cardinal direction of Dick.
That name is going to grow more and more unfortunate.
It really is.
That side of the island does look a little limp, so it works.
Oh my god.
It is the extremity.
But as you get
Oh, that's
closer, and the sailors sort of begin to get to slightly more industrious work as they're going to have to set up landing, etc., you realize that all of that sort of dark grey, smudgy look on the island is actually wilted foliage, like a jungle that has had like all of the water sucked out of it. All of the plants are lying like limp over the rocks. There's no like energy or vitality to anything on the island currently, which makes it a little bit easier to see that there are also some sort of structures covered in greenery on that island. You're not certain if they are hills, mountains, or man-made structures, but there are sort of rises in sort of, one is on the southwest, one is at the northeast, and one is roughly central. But beyond that, there isn't too much to see from this distance. Just that you can see the plants that are on there have clearly had a rough time of it.
That's a bit
What
strange.
type of plants do they look like? Do they look like oceanic plants, or do they look like, you know?
You're still a
actual-
little too far to tell. You can just sort of see the dark
Right.
green that might be wet kelp or seaweed or something like that. Might be just very limp leaves. It's a little too far away currently.
As they get closer, Edith is definitely going to like try to maintain the stimming to herself, but she's probably going to end up like kind of patting Delphi's arm without realizing it as like they're getting closer and can see more details.
Delphi is patting right back. Like, the second she cues in, it's a, oh, yes. Like, matching that excitement.
And about 20 minutes more until you have reached that bay area, and you hear a horrific grinding sound from below decks, as if the engine, because this ship is sort of a combination engine and sails, has gotten stuck, or something has gotten stuck in the engine. And one of the sailors comes over and says, mighty sorry to interrupt you, ladies. Ladies, yes. Sorry, I'm just not used to seeing all you dames not in skirts. Exciting time. Not that I have a problem with that. It's just, yeah, I'm gonna shut up. Anyway, the captain said to let you know you're gonna have to take a longboat down to the shore because there's been a problem with the engine. Something's gotten caught in it. So a couple of us fellas will take you down there so you don't have to row yourselves. And yeah, we'll head back up to the boat after we've dropped you off. And gotten you settled where you want to be, so you know you don't have to carry your own luggage or organize any of that yourself.
Do you know what was caught in the engine?
No, we're sending a couple of the lads down to have a look.
Okay.
What happened to the twirly-haired Clark Kent guy? Because he didn't come over at all.
He's just, yeah, he's around. He's doing, I think he's coiling some rope right now, probably. If he sees you looking, he'll kind of raise a hand, wave back. But yeah, they pull down a rowboat, which can fit you and the rest of your party, and all of Delphi's luggage in it at the same time. And
Impressive rowboat.
it's fairly, it's like more of a longboat than a rowboat, really. But a group of, I would say, maybe 3 to 4 sailors, including the one who came over to talk to you, will begin loading all of your stuff into the boat. They're all like very stereotypical sailors, like they are wearing a fairly plain white uniform, complete with the neckerchief, all of it, the whole 9 yards.
Well, ladies and gents, shall we hit the road?
So we're not.
Yeah.
All right, easy enough. So you all get into the boat. Can I get a sight check again, please?
Hey, that was
I
much
don't know
better.
if natural 20s are a thing, but that's what I got.
Excellent.
Se-
That is
17.
22.
And sorry, Vex, I missed yours.
I got an 11.
Okay, so everyone except Delphi.
Delphi's busy trying to get the sailors to play a card game that she doesn't know how to play.
Oh,
Have you heard of
that's
Gin
so
Rummy?
much.
Excellent. So have I. Let's figure out how to play it together. Yeah, you will notice as you get into this longboat, which is lowered carefully into the water, and two of the sailors take up posts on the oars, the water is absolutely lousy with kelp. Like, it's growing right up to the surface of the water, like fouling the oars every so often. They have to carefully like work around the sheer amount of like oceanic plant life that is in this little bay surrounding the island.
Well, ain't that something?
As you arrive at the beach itself, you'll see that the beach is made. I'm going to try and use imperial measurements because I know that most of you are imperial people, but I might fuck that up because I don't know imperial measurements. So I've done my best, but occasionally I'll probably be like, and I'll default to meters because I know what that is.
It's okay. I speak both, so I'm good either way.
But there's about 30 feet of beautiful, pure white sand. Like, this is postcard level beach. The water is this stunning, crystalline, very clear blue. The limp foliage, now that you're closer, you can see it appears to look like sort of older, like what would have been a palm tree, but like the trunk has died and now it's draped with kelp. And there's sort of this rocky area just coming off the beach, then this mostly dead jungle interspersed with plants that thrive below water. And once again, a couple of the sailors get out and sort of help draw the boat up. The guy who came over and spoke to you super awkwardly will offer each of you a hand down off the boat. And the older fellows who are with you take the hand down as well, and you can see that this dude is a bit like, oh, I wanted to help the pretty lady down, but yeah, of course I'll help you down, 60-year-old man, that's fair.
So I have some suspicions about the plant life, but could I do a naturalist check to see if Dick would actually think of this?
Certainly.
All right, let's see what I got.
So for our new players,
Nat
naturalists,
one. No.
that one. Dick has never seen a plant before in their life. This is the first time.
You mean there are weeds underwater?
But for everyone else, naturalist is the skill that I will call on for things like tracking, identifying plants, identifying animals, anything like that. But yeah, you're on this clear stretch of beach, then there are the rocks, and then there's wilted plant life a bit deeper onto the island. So the sailors are drawing the boat up off the ground so that it won't get caught by the tide. Someone else is unloading all of your baggage. And another one of the guy with the little curl will come over and goes, all right, so where were you thinking of setting up camp? Because we're happy to take everything across and sort of give you a hand setting up the tents and that. Do you have any ideas?
Can I roll naturalist for that of the best place to set up?
Sure.
Ooh. That will be 23.
23. Okay. So looking around, you would guess that most of this beach gets covered by the tide. Like, it's a very shallow beach, which tells you that the water rushes most of the way up to those rocky areas. And the rocks don't look too sharp or difficult to climb. So you would guess over the rocks and have a look at the jungle proper once you get closer. Because from this distance, you've really only got that sort of postcard look at, here is most of the beach, and there is more stuff further back. I will just let you guys know it's about 3 p.m. in terms of when you guys got to this island. You have time to look around, decide what you're doing, but you also know that the sun goes down here around 8 o'clock, so you'll probably want to be settled and know what you're doing by the time that rolls around.
Well, the beach is definitely out. I suggest we take them over the rocks. Have a look up there. And kind of looks at Edith and is like, are you going to be okay with your chair getting up there?
Is there an easy way for me to get up?
You just sort of have to go down the beach a little bit more to where the rocks sort of trail down. It's sort of one of those like very small cliffy areas where it's almost triangular shaped. So you just have to take the long way around. The sand is fairly packed down, like it's not horrific to try and wheel over.
Thank God.
I know that struggle.
Yes. Terrible.
And yeah, I'll head over to the rocks and start climbing. Oh yeah?
I'll be fine. This is so cool. And she's gonna start wheeling up.
Yeah.
Delphi is going with her, going the long way, full 9. Delphi is like following behind, egging on the excitement, adding like little tidbits like, did you see that? And did you see that? And that's super cool.
We're best friends now. One boat ride, that's it. We're best friends.
I'll take it.
You were trapped in a plane together for 14 hours. It makes sense.
That's fair.
Esmera kind of like grins at you two as you heading off because you two are just too adorable. It really is the bubbliness. And is like, okay, shucks the backpack on and heads for the rocks.
Could I get a charm roll from Delphi?
Sure. I can do that. I'm good at that, okay.
You so charming.
Not only am I good at that, I nat 20'd for a total of 23.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
So you don't stop to think about your luggage, but that's okay because 3 of these men who have come over on the boat with you just automatically pick up all your stuff and begin to follow you.
Please tell me 2 of them like fight over that hat box.
Yeah, 2 of them are definitely like, no, look, you can carry the other suitcase. It's fine. And you just see Dazai sort of shaking his head and being like, every time. This happens every time. And lifts his own suitcase, which the other people completely ignored, and heads off to follow you. What's Dick up to?
I was to say, Dick is following the crowd, but just a few steps behind, again with the notebook, like seeming to write down something constantly.
Hey, I would love to know what Dick is
She and
writing
Edith
down.
have that in common.
So, circling the rocks, you come up to the edge of this incredibly wilted, strange foliage. Even without any kind of check, looking at it, you don't know how long this island was submerged, but the plants look sort of the way that a neglected houseplant does, where it's like just holding on. But in that way where you're like, I feel like these plants had like water and sunlight 2 weeks ago, maybe? Like they aren't long-term dead, if that makes sense. They're like a particularly dramatic fig. If any of you have indoor plants, you know, there are some that just, as soon as they haven't had water for 3 days, they're like, I'm dead. And then if you give them some water, they're immediately like, I've always been thriving.
Then there's ones you don't touch for 3 months, you forget that they exist, and somehow they look fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I got a black thumb. I've killed cactuses, so I have no clue.
Cactuses are harder to take care of than people say they are. You can overwater them so fast.
It's true.
So don't feel bad about that. Cactuses can be tough. You kill a snake plant, though, that's when I'm gonna start judging you.
That is impressive. Or killing mint. That is also very impressive.
Yeah.
Mint.
So heading up to the edge of this region, the first thing that you see that is very obvious is that there is a pathway. There is like a brick road that seems to lead deeper into these this mass of wilted plants. And this brick road is made up of copper tiles that are covered in intricate carvings with different like motifs. That's as much as you'll get without some closer investigation.
All right, I'm absolutely going to go up and have a look at the motifs.
Okay, sure. You can give me a sight check for just what do you see, or you can give me an education for what do I think they mean, based off just the general look of them.
Education.
Okay.
That's cute. Okay, sight check, it's a 21.
21. So you see a few repeating motifs. There are a lot of like plants. There are a lot of particularly sunflowers. Like tons and tons of just the head of a sunflower. There are a lot of like pictures of like a sharp hook, like a fish hook. And there are a lot of strange, it's like an oval with a line at one end where there is nothing carved inside of it. And sort of the way that these are arranged, it makes you think of something like hieroglyphics. Like it seems to be language, it's not just decorations. That's as much as you'll get on a sight roll.
Okay. I can try an education. Any chance I can add a cult to that?
Considering your background, I don't think you would have studied these cultures.
No.
Like the ones that you're more likely to run across. So I don't think you could add a cult to it. Is Esmira sort of sharing what she finds as she is looking, or is she keeping it to
literally,
herself?
the thing is, she'll call back to Luke immediately and go, come have a look at this. And so everyone can, very clearly say. And then the two who are writing is like, you two might want to see this too.
I want to look.
Smart
Luke
people,
will
come
over
and observe.
and just sort of lean on your shoulder and be like, yeah, it's a bunch of pictures. This is more your thing than mine. I'm more concerned with how bright this sun is.
She flicks his hand. He's like, that means there were people here once.
Do you think there are people here now? That's what I care about.
They breathe water.
I'll let you know if I see a mermaid. And then he sort of moves off to try and get a little bit of shade under the rocks because the sun is incredibly bright and glaring. It's about, I don't know this in Fahrenheit, so I'm just going to say 33 degrees Celsius. So it's a hot summer day.
That's toasty.
Yeah, there's a great breeze coming off the water, so it's not like unrelenting, but the sun is very hot.
As soon as I see Luke struggling, I will step back, dig in the backpack, grab out a hat, and go take it to him.
Okay.
And literally sweat him on the shoulder and be like, I told you to bring yours.
But it ruins my look, he says sarcastically and puts it on.
Well, I'm sure the mermaids won't mind.
All right, so we've got everyone else looking at this road. What kind of checks are we doing? How are you investigating?
I'd love to do a gut feeling check.
Gut feeling? Yeah. What are the vibes on this road? So for those of us who haven't played fundamental RPG before, gut feeling I very much think of as just what's the energy here? What's the vibe? Should I be scared? Am I good? Am I bad? Is it sus? What's the situation?
I got a 16.
You're not having a great feeling, but you're not sure if that's just everything is bad right now. You're not sure if it's the anxiety of your situation or if this road specifically is a bad thing. Okay. There's nothing specific to point to other than the fact that there is a mysterious copper road in the middle of a jungle on a deserted island in the South Pacific where you are surrounded by people you don't know.
So you're saying I'm anxious and not sure if I am or am not in danger.
Yeah,
so,
basically.
Average Tuesday for Dick.
Yeah, basically.
Forgot about gut feeling. I must remember that next time.
Could I possibly roll an education roll?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Do you have any professions you feel would be useful in this? Anything where you feel like Edith would have studied anything to do with these sorts of things before?
Edith's autistic, so she likes to learn a lot about everything, but I think the big thing is all of the stories that she's been on. I think any sort of experience that could taking in that sort of detail would come into handy there.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you roll plus your journalist. experience here.
So, question, how does that work?
Okay, so you're going to roll the d20, add your education, and then also add your training in, I don't remember if you wrote down reporter or journalist or how you phrased it exactly, but you add that points as well.
Okay. Is 21 plus stuff?
Plus stuff. Okay. Does that take it over 25?
Sorry,
Or is it...
24 plus stuff, yes.
Okay, so we'll take it
I
over
don't know
25.
why I was doing it wrong. It was 18 plus 6
Yeah.
plus more stuff.
Yeah. So, Edith, as you look at this, you are taken back to a story you did about 3 months ago where you were covering Tutankhamun came to the Met. And you were doing like a little puff piece on like, you should go to this museum exhibit. It's so cool. You can learn all about Egypt. What a great thing to take the kids to on their summer holidays. It's so cheap. It's half a penny for getting in. Why not? And as you look at these pictures, you're taken back to the Egyptian hieroglyphs that you've seen before. So you get the feeling that these are there are some of these that are like names and some of them are words, but the ones that are definitely the most important is that sunflower. You're like, that's definitely a name. That's something important. The hook and the empty oval with the line under it, because you are taken back to yourself interviewing like the docent at the museum, and he was explaining, oh, it's very interesting when it comes to ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. We always know the names of the pharaohs because they put them in a cartouche, which is this oval symbol with the line under it to show how important they are. That always shows it as the name of the king or the queen, someone important. So you're like, that's strange because there's no symbols inside this cartouche. It's just empty. So theoretically, that's where the name of the king or the queen should be, but there's nothing there.
That's really weird.
And also, what are Egyptian hieroglyphs doing in the South Pacific?
Yep, that's really weird.
What is?
They're hieroglyphs? The only stuff that I like recognize is that this marks that it's the name of Pharaoh, but there's nothing there. I don't know why there's hieroglyphs on this island. Just rapidly starts scribbling.
So, in traditional ancient Egypt with hieroglyphs and out of curiosity, would there usually be a name there just as this person is the pharaoh, or did it serve a purpose other than that, obviously?
I didn't study ancient Egypt myself. It was based on a piece that I did when Tutankhamun came to the Met. I picked up some information there, but it's not something I studied.
That is entirely
Sorry.
fair. No. And she'll she'll take a second and she'll like kind of kneel down with so that she can get right at eye level with you, hands on hips. Absolutely not. You learned more than I ever could. And she'll give like a little pat. It's not patronizing. It's not like she's looking down at you. She's genuinely like, you did a great job.
Delphi's still riding the high of that nat 20 charm check. Could I
Listen,
get
I don't
another
need
gut
it.
feeling
I don't-
roll from our two people who aren't currently investigating the road? So Esmira and Dick.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even roll anything.
Modified 20.
Modified 20 and...
Sorry, I'm just pulling up gut. So that'll be a 24.
24. You guys, it's a hot day. You're near the beach. It's really weird there are no flies. There are no flies, there are no mosquitoes, nothing like that. It's just like it's like the perfect beach day. It's hot, there's a beautiful cool wind, but there are no bugs. I'll leave you with that as we go back to what's Delphi doing?
Probably. So she doesn't know a lot about like ancient Egypt or anything like that. For the most part, what she does know is about death rites and rituals. Can I roll to see if she knows if this is part of one or not?
Absolutely, yes. So that'll be an education, and you can add your mortician training.
Cool.
And after we've resolved this roll, we're going to go for a quick break. So just so everyone's across that.
Roll, there we go. 21.
A 21. So not specifically, you don't think this is specifically part of a death ritual, or if it is, it's not a death ritual to do with any of the people who are being described in this text. You probably would have, in your sort of fascination with the morbid and the dead before, you know that the cartouche isn't specifically used during funeral rites. It is literally the equivalent of writing king in front of someone's name. Like, it's just how they would write that down.
Okay. She learns nothing new. She goes back to just... It's like she regarded it for a second.
But yeah, you would also probably notice there are no bugs around, which is weird because anywhere where there's anything decaying, you can usually find some bugs.
Yeah, I think Dick will bring that up to the group. Just be like, y'all notice there's no bugs?
Well, I mean, if the island wasn't above water.
It takes a while for bugs to come in on different animals. A lot of them can't really, unless they're based in water, they can't survive unless they haven't had time to populate, I guess. It's odd, but also so is an island appearing out of nowhere.
Actually,
Yeah.
on that front, are there any deceased fish or anything around?
And I think that on that is where we're going to leave it for our 15-minute break. So we will be back in 15 minutes to try and find some dead fish, I guess.
Well, they are hooks.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. When we last left off, we decided that there were probably some dead fish somewhere, and that our team of intrepid ladies were going to try and find some dead fish. So you're currently I have Edith and Delphi crouched by the road, or Delphi is crouched, Edith is in her chair. I have Esmira and Dick a little set back nearer to the rocks, where they were observing the lack of wildlife in the area. And your NPCs are sort of dotted around, including 4 sailors who are just carrying all of Delphi's luggage, and 4 other sailors who look a little upset that they don't get to carry Delphi's luggage. And no, actually, probably 3 sailors who look a little upset they don't get to carry Delphi's luggage, and 1 sailor who is confused by why everybody is so into this lady.
One of the 3 that's upset definitely has a black eye, and you cannot tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you're right, so yeah.
I'm also slightly nervous that you're giving us very specific information about where everyone is located at this moment.
It's fine.
Oh, it's a lovely sunny day in, sunny weather with no mosquitoes on the beach. Perfect beach. We're safe. Everything's fine.
Everything's good. Since when do bad things happen when the sun is up, guys? You're fine. So, what do you do?
I'm looking for the dead fish.
All right, so you're heading back to the beach?
Yeah.
All right.
Delphi, we need to set up camp first.
Have fun. Fish.
Okay.
I will literally look at Luke and do rock, paper, scissors to see who's got to follow the one in the dress.
All right, do you want to just give me a d20? If you roll above 10, that's you getting the outcome you want. If you roll below 10, it's not getting the outcome you want. You don't have to tell me which one it is or what you roll. Just tell me what ends up happening.
A long drawn-out sigh and turn around and follow Delphi to the beach.
Okay.
Dick just sort of gives Esmira a look, and it's like, that I can go.
No, it's okay. We're being paid to try and keep you alive.
Okay, in that case, I'm definitely going with you.
Cool, so we're all going because
by the way,
I'm going to do the thing that I know that you understand, because I do, that all wheelchair users love doing, is I'm going to wait until Delphi is like most of the way to the bottom, and then I'm just gonna rocket down this hill as fast as I possibly
absolutely.
can.
Awesome.
I forgot to mention earlier, Esmira has a machete. Like a machete's big brother strapped to her backpack. It's a macheta, not even a machete.
That's awesome.
Linguistic joke, love it.
So,
The real way to my heart.
Luke is going to have to take the rest of the NPCs to go set up camp, and Esmira is very like in Spanish muttering, following down the path towards the others who are now going back to the beach we just came from.
It's all right. Luann can do it.
Dr. Dazai is going to call back and be like, Delphinia, don't get too distracted. We haven't decided where we're going to set up our preservation tent. So we're going to need to figure that out.
I'll do my best, but only because we don't have our supplies out yet.
Exactly. Said much in the tone of someone who has had to manage this level of flightiness for about 16 years.
Just don't go too far. When I flash the porch light, you need to come inside.
Exactly. So how are you guys searching for fish? You guys could try just looking around. You can try and smell and see if you can smell any dead fish on the air.
For fish footprints.
You can try and track the fish.
I am not searching for the fish. I'm kind of standing where I can see all of them.
Okay, so you're sort of standing part way up the hill, so you've got a bigger, like, overlook. Okay?
Yeah.
Fish search team, what are you doing?
I'm trying to figure it out.
I am going to be using sight and smell to be trying to find these fish.
Great. Which one would you like to do first?
I can also listen for fish. I'm gonna listen for fish first because I'm very curious as to how listening for fish is gonna go.
So am I, honestly.
I don't think the dancing, singing fish has been invented yet, so I'm not sure what we're gonna hear.
Yeah, I think the big mouse bass isn't coming around for a couple of decades yet.
I nat one on the listening for fish, so
so you're still trying to listen, but then you're like, I'm standing right next to the surf. The only thing I can hear is waves. Wild.
Crazy. She's following the scientific method. She's like, oh, right, other senses. And
amazing.
She'll start looking for fish.
Yeah, makes sense.
So much.
I think Dick's gonna do just a general looking around, looking for anything suspicious. And while
just real quick, a shout out to the raid that has come through. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming and seeing.
Back.
Hi, Raiders.
Help us find dead fish.
It's just like a general investigation of the area, looking for things that are weird or out of place. And the whole time, she's just gonna be like, well, if we're going to find Lily, then, the best place is probably the beach, if she were lost off of a boat around here, right?
John, who you guys have completely forgot was here, will nod and be like, yes, you're very correct. We should search the area for any suspicious footprints or signs that other people are here. And then sort of steps back, and again, you're like, oh yeah, he was here. Huh.
You're not really going to be able to find footprints in the sand, especially if they were lost before we flew out here. I'm assuming they would have probably made shelter. If they were beached here, they're probably not okay.
That's probably correct. You're very smart.
Thank you. I try.
All right, so we've listened for fish. Definitely a sensible move. What's up next?
So
Oh, sorry.
I rolled to look for fish.
Yes, sorry, I think I missed you saying that.
You're
What you roll?
totally fine. I rolled a 5.
Rolled a 5. It's very bright. And like the hat brim is helping, but there's like a lot of sunlight just glancing off the waves. And honestly, it's kind of distracting because it's like blowing Edith's hair in like a very fetching way. And you're like, oh, this is nice. This is just a nice day. And you just kind of get distracted and you're like, wait, I was looking for something, wasn't I?
I think honestly, she sees Edith and Dick having this like cute little moment, and she gets distracted by gay thoughts to the point where it's just like nothing. No.
Well, you found a
We have not
fish, not
played
the one
this
you
game.
wanted.
We have not played this game for even 2 hours yet. And the queer.
It leaps out.
May I make one last ditch attempt to smell for fish?
Absolutely.
It's all I have left. Cool, that's a 19.
19. All right. So you put a hand to the hat on your head and you're like, I'm just gonna like lift my nose and try and smell anything. You don't immediately get the smell of rotting fish, but you do catch a sort of a strange like metallic smell coming from sort of the northwest. So sort of following the curve of the island around, or it might be from the water over in that direction. But there is something, it's not necessarily a blood smell, because you know what blood smells like. You've got that experience. But it's like a metal kind of smell.
I found something. And she's gonna just start on her way, following this smell. She's like a bloodhound.
Immediately follow the puppy in human form.
Yes.
I
think
think golden
it's
retriever of a
always
human
behind
being.
Luann's going to come up and just give Edith a hand with the chair over some of the beach. Because like some parts of it are packed down very well, and then there are some bits where you like get caught in a little bit of a dip. So she's just like there
she
to
probably
help.
catches me as my front wheel fucking like
Yeah, exactly.
gets into like a soft portion, starts spinning. It's like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. So it's like that thing of like she's not pushing you unless you're like, I'm tired, can you push for a bit? But she's just there for when the inevitable tiny disaster happens.
Excuse me.
And is Dick sort of bringing up the rear? Are they trying to like overtake and catch up?
No, she's. I mean, yes, but she's also staying closer than she was before. Also looking for potential dangers, and is a little less standoffish now and a little more. I have a bad feeling about this place, so I'm gonna stay close to the group and make sure they're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you follow sort of the surf and the beach around, first of all, you realize this island is a lot larger than you had first thought. Like you're walking for longer than you originally assumed you would be. But this metallic smell is growing stronger as you get around until after about, honestly, a 45-minute walk, which again, it's a beautiful day. It's not like it's a hardship to walk that far. You realize that smell that you're smelling that is very thick and very like, not palpable because it's a scent, is motor oil. And coming around the corner, I want another sight check, please. I think Delphi's in the lead, so we'll start with her. But then I think we have Delphi, then probably Esmira, and then Edith, and then Dick.
I think she looked back and got distracted by pretty people again.
Okay.
17.
17.
You said sight?
Sight, yes.
16.
16.
I also got 16.
16. Okay. So Esmera will be the first one to see it, which makes sense because she's sort of keeping more of a wide eye out. There is like some kind of black thing on the beach. Again, still quite a distance off. Then I want a hearing check from everyone, and you can roll this with advantage because it's a very loud noise.
What does with advantage mean?
So you roll 2 d20s, take the higher roll.
Oh,
The first one was a 2.
crit 20 with
Nice.
plus 5, so 25 with crit.
Excellent.
And then, sorry, this is hearing?
Hearing, yes. I'm sorry,
I got a
I will
15.
often mix up listen and hearing because I am used to another system that uses listen in that place.
Oh
so-
no, this was my auditory processing shit. I didn't hear the word at all. So
Okay.
don't worry about it. It's not you, that's on me.
Okay, and what did Dick get? Sorry?
Um,
Was it a 16, 17?
15.
15. Okay. So actually, Esmera, you're going to take 1
17
point
for
of...
Edith.
Okay. Esmera, you're going to take 1 point of damage as an incredibly loud gunshot goes off. And you were just listening a little bit too closely for comfort. So you take 1 hit point of damage, and the 3 of you who succeeded your hearing check will hear the report of a pistol going off from that thing that's further up the beach. And I think even though Delphi is distracted, she'll definitely gather that something has happened because everyone else turns to look.
Dick also pulls out a gun.
I think Esmera does kind of drop to a knee and grab her ears because if it's enough to do damage, like I'm half expecting a trickle of blood, but like, but after the sound settles, we'll look up again.
And at this distance, you can now see that black shape on the beach is actually a beach submarine that appears to be entangled in kelp.
Is there any flag symbol on the submarine?
That's a really great question. Maybe you should get closer and have a look.
Yep.
More importantly, do we see the person who shot the gun?
No,
And are they looking at us?
no, not with the rolls that you guys got. You do not see anything other than this, just the hunk that is submarine.
I got an 8, and I have 2 in spy, if I can apply that.
You can apply that here. But unfortunately, with a 10, no, you've got to get closer. You guys are still,
we
I'm going to say,
know-
like 50 feet back from this submarine. So
Do we know based on hearing what direction the gunshot came from?
from that submarine.
Okay. I just
I
wanted
will
to make
pull out-
sure.
I will pull out me machete.
Fair enough.
Dick will move to the front of the group and slowly move forward.
Yeah.
Hey,
Alright.
if they're shooting at us, do we want to get this close?
I mean, you
Is
guys
there-
didn't see like the sand kick up or see like something, any sign that a bullet was shot in your direction. You just heard the report of the gun.
Is this a mini sub or is it like
Nix
one of those?
at us and just make it shooting. If they're shooting, do we want to get closer?
Is it a mini sub or is it like a full size sub?
It is a full-size submarine.
If Dick is moving forward, Esmera is gonna follow, be like, and go with.
Dick, as you get closer, you see incriminatingly stamped in white paint on the outside the very strange and unfamiliar hammer and sickle that you've never seen before because you're an American citizen.
Never seen it. I don't know what that is.
And there is some Cyrillic writing on it as well. Which
Only
obviously
someone
you
yet-
don't understand because you're an American citizen.
Yeah. I think Dick will see that. Her face will lose color for a moment. But then she will try to recover by going, it's some weird lettering. I anybody know what this says? Because I only speak English.
Give me a blend-in roll.
I need a second there.
That one.
So
God, you don't understand.
Dick literally begins sounding something out in Russian, like very clearly. It's like, Ishmin, I mean, I only speak English. Does anyone know what this submarine says?
If only
Is it a
there was something
submarine? I
written
don't know.
specifically on my character sheet, I would want to make something up so bad.
Oh,
You're very bad at lying.
what? I don't know what you're talking about.
See, he did it again. It's terrible. I'm kind of impressed.
What? Like being told that someone isn't impressed while also clearly failing breaks Dick's brain. Her brain is broken.
Like, Delphi gets up closer and like looks up with like these bright eyes, sweet smile. Just, I think you're the person who is worst at lying that I've ever seen. And that is really cool.
Again, I'll remind you, there was just a gunshot.
I know. But I rolled a nat one, so I'm gonna go with Dick is a mix of existential dread, anxious panic, and gay panic all at the same time, and she literally cannot speak right now.
Okay, fair enough. What's the rest of the team doing?
Delphi?
Considering the fact that I am a reporter, I have probably had a lot of probably Russian material across my desk because of the whole panic about spies during the 1950s. Could I roll to see if maybe I recognize anything?
Yeah, so you just continuing looking at this section of the sub, or are you like trying to circle it and get a better idea of what's going on all over the place?
Probably
or...
for now, staying kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
and
sure.
just, taking in the information that's immediately obvious, considering there was a gunshot from this vicinity.
Yeah, give me an education check. Sorry, I'll get to you right next. I see the hand. I'll be with you in a second.
Okay. Would I get to add anything for the reporter stuff?
I don't think so. I think that just gives you access to this information.
No worries. I just wanted to check. 20... Fast math. 23?
23, okay. So immediately, the Cyrillic lettering here is like stamped lettering. It is essentially like an ID, and then there's a bunch of numbers. So you're guessing this is like the registration for this submarine. Yep, you go ahead, write it down. Right, Nicole, you wanted to...
Considering that they're much talking after gunshot with no care for silence, I think I want to get eyes on whoever shot the gun to make sure they're not trying to get eyes on us. So I'm inching around the front.
Okay. Do you want to give me a sight check?
Crit 26.
Excellent. All right. You get a ton of information. So the first thing you'll notice is that someone has written on the side of the submarine in machine oil, in motor oil, and you're guessing that is the smell that Delphi was IDing off the wind early. So the writing on the side of the submarine, it says, first of all, it says Fialka, which is a word that you're guessing is in Russian. So it says Fialka. And then there is a kind of a scribble of a tent, like very much like what looks like a tent. And then underneath it says meet, and then equals, and then a couple of letters. So it says RCKV. So it says meet equals RCKV, and then there are a bunch of like encoded letters underneath.
I need to know, is it meet MEET or MEAT?
MEAT.
Oh my. Okay.
Meat is me. Meat is me.
And then you can see this is what your nat 20 gets you. In this water, maybe 20 feet out into the surf, there is a body floating.
Is it face down or face up?
Face down.
Is the water looking very red around it?
No.
And how far in did you say it was?
About 20 feet. So it's swimming distance. Like, you'd have to swim out to get to it.
Kind of look up. Is there someone on top of the sub?
No. In fact, the hatch is closed. You can see. There is a ladder that would lead up to the hatch if you wanted to investigate the top of the submarine, but this is just what you can see from on the sand. And the other thing I'll give you is there are the metal skeletons of, like, tent poles in the sand, but there are no, like, there's no cloth, there's no leather, there's nothing, like, organic, just the metal.
Just for my brain, 20 feet is what, 4 meters?
Around 4 meters, yeah.
So I could wade out and see if I could pull the body back in.
It's probably just beyond wading. Like, it would be sort of chest high. That region where it starts to be easier to swim than to wade.
Okay. I'll wait for the others to make their way around.
Do you find any? Oh, that's okay.
Do we want to grab it?
Dick, give me an education check and add spy to it.
Okay.
Please let me grab it. I want to grab it.
So much better than what I had. Blast roll. So that's 12 plus education, you said?
Yep.
That's 14 plus spice. That's 16 total.
16 total. You've heard of Fialka. You know what that is. That's a code. That's like a way of encoding information so that other people can't read it. It's a cipher. More than that, it's a fairly basic Soviet cipher. You know how to do this. You've heard of this cipher before. You know how to encode it. So theoretically, you know how to decrypt it. You could copy down these letters, and you know there are 2 pieces of information that you would need. There's a special code number, and then you need a word already in the cipher. So you can see on the side of the submarine, there's already that meat equals, and then that. And then there is the tent skeleton. There was no number you can see. And it has to be a simple number. It has to be between 1 and 10.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, it has to be between 1 and 20, sorry. So, you know, it's not anything big or long. It has to be something between 1 and 20.
Okay. Dick is now struggling with, do I solve this and completely blow the cover that she, bless her heart, still thinks is kind of there? Or does she try to contain her cover? So she is obviously having like an internal struggle at the moment. Does anyone say anything to her?
I'm not going to say anything, but I am going to, while you're having that struggle, I'm going to drop my backpack and I'm going to try and get the body in.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Do you want to go ahead and give me a might check for this?
Sure. I'm good at that.
She's strong.
She's very strong. Might. So that will be 24.
24. Okay. You wade out into the surf and then switch to, like, you know, front crawl to get out to the distance that you need to grab this body. It is the body of a man in his sort of mid-30s. You can't see much more than that currently. He's wearing some sort of military uniform. At that point, you need to sort of drag him back in. You're too deep in the water to necessarily examine it closely here. But taking it back up onto the beach does not stymie you at all. You've trained for this. You've literally trained before to recover people from this sort of situation as part of your pilot training.
So can I do the loop in, swim?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and when
you
I
drag him back up onto the beach.
And dump him down.
Yeah, absolutely. Jenny, you wanted to say something?
Sorry.
Just excited hands.
It's the look on Vex's face with just Delphi just give me the body. Give it to me. Give me the body.
I feel like a cat who's like dragged something into the house going, for you. I'll check pockets.
Yeah. His pockets are full of rocks.
Does he have a bullet wound on him?
There's nothing immediately evident. Like, there isn't like a huge red patch.
Out of curiosity, how many rocks?
Someone roll a d20 for me.
14.
14 rocks.
Would 14 work in that cipher
It
puzzle
could
thing?
do. It could do, but this would be a real weird place to put a cipher key. Like, the rest of the
Fair.
cipher key is on the side of the submarine.
So I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since there are rocks in his pockets, he must be fairly bloated in order to rise back up to the surface.
Indeed.
How old does this body look?
I don't know if that's something that your character would have the knowledge to know. But there's someone else who probably does.
As a player, just asking the question, I'm not needing the answer. I just voicing.
Delphi has been showing amazing restraint as she looks at the body with glee. So Esmera will back off the body and kind of like take off her outer top and start bringing it out.
The second she steps back, it's like permission has been given. The person is no longer doing a thing, and it's just and she immediately first jumps into her spiritualist mode, where she says a few soft words over the body, essentially just making sure that the spirit can find peace. And it's not going to be trapped to the body. And then it's like, cool, husk. And starts trying to figure out time of death, method of death, like...
Absolutely. Give me an education check. You can add your mortician to this.
Yay.
And for Raven's edification, while you're doing that, the Fialka code is 2 codes that you do one and then the other. So the first is called an Atbash code, which is essentially you take something and you turn it backwards. And then it is also a code with, it's called a rotational code. I'm going to post a bunch of stuff for our players to do sort of in between games. So this will be one of the codes that you can do in between games. So you'll come back next week with the information of what you found on the Russian sub, and we'll sort of abstract that out to you guys around the campfire, having like worked on this as a project between the time of the first session and the next one.
Okay.
Because for our viewers, quite a lot of this game is about like hidden information and ciphers and codes, which isn't very dynamic on stream. So we're trying to sort of do all the action stuff in game and the code breaking and the solving of the riddles in between games, so we can come back with the information to start doing stuff.
We asked for homework during our session 0.
Yeah.
We wanted homework so bad.
All right, Vex, how did you go?
25.
25. Excellent work. So Delphi immediately is like, okay, this guy drowned. He drowned about a week ago.
Eh?
It doesn't look like he was struggling that much. Like it just looking at him, he's not got any other injuries. It's not like he like escaped some fight and then like swam out to sea and then died there. It looks like this man was like, I'm going to go off and drown.
Yeah.
What better way to spend a Thursday afternoon?
Truly.
Just go off and drown.
So,
Like, he put his mind to it. His pockets are full of rocks. He was like, I'm planning on dying at sea.
she's gonna look up to everyone. Definitely drowned. See no other evidence of any foul play or anything like that. really determined about it, though. I'm actually kind of, again, impressed. This is the second time I've been impressed by something like this today. But no, he put a lot of effort into making sure that he drowned. He didn't want to go any other way.
And in fact, the other thing you will note is there is definitely enough rocks in there that he did not want to be carried back to shore by the tide.
He didn't want to come back to land at all. I get it. Water is nice. I understand.
I mean, I like the beach
Oops.
as much as the next person, but I don't think I would want to go drown in it.
I have another question.
Mhm.
So, remind me, when exactly was this island reported of popping up?
So it would have been about 3 days ago now. So you guys made really good time getting
Okay.
But then who fired the gunshot?
I don't know. I'm very confused. I mean, if something drove this person to want to not be alive anymore, that is an odd way to do it.
Well, maybe he was looking for something. Maybe death wasn't what he was originally after.
So like an impromptu diving suit that doesn't come with air?
Yeah. I mean, in theory, if you go down with the rocks and then you dump the rocks out when you're ready to go back up, you wouldn't, expire.
So yeah, maybe they intended to just get deep enough to see something and then come right back up, and then something got a hold of them, or?
Well, no.
Again, Delphi said no, signs of struggle at all.
It just looks like they weren't fast enough. If that is the case. We could take them back. I have my tools there.
I think we should.
Decided.
I think we should head back. We don't know who shot the gun, but whoever they are must be somewhere around here. And I don't think going into the sub is a good idea right now.
I think you're probably right. Best to leave the strange submarine where it is. I'll just copy this weird stuff on it. Maybe we can figure that out later.
So just for a reminder, there is the meet equals and then the code word. There is the ciphered text, and there is the weird picture of a tent.
I am going to try and grab a couple of those tent pegs to take back with us.
Yeah, sure. So give me a quick sight roll to sort of scout around and see what's on the ground here.
15 plus 6, so 21.
21. Okay, so there are tons of tent pegs. It looks like there were 13 full tents set up here, but everything except the metal parts are gone. So the ropes are gone, the actual tents themselves are gone. There are a couple of metal foot-lockery type things with more Cyrillic text on them, but they're empty. There's nothing inside them. They're unlocked. So there's just these metal struts, metal pegs, metal boxes. That's it.
And anything not metal is just gone.
Just gone.
Oh, that's
You
unnerving.
even find a belt buckle, but no belt.
That's super unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's starting to get late. We need to head back. It's going to take us at least an hour to get back to where the group was. I don't want to cut through the jungle without us knowing exactly what we're going to find.
Agreed.
We can bring him with us, right?
Okay.
Should we do that? Since it doesn't seem like he wanted to come to shore?
It's not him anymore. He's gone.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my jacket. We could use a couple of tent poles and that to make some sort of sled that'll make it a little bit easier to move the body. If we're
Question,
worried
how
about
bad does
time.
this thing smell?
It doesn't. Doesn't smell bad. It's
That
a little
is-
bloated, but Delphi, this is something that you hadn't really thought about before because you just automatically covered your nose with a handkerchief with some smelling salts on it because it's going to smell bad. Like, you knew that. But looking at it, like, the bloat is just water bloat. There's no, like, bacterial growth. There's no decay.
She looks at this dead body, and she looks at it with such intrigue and genuine overflowing excitement. And she's just, we absolutely have to get it back. It is, I've never seen a body do this for as long as it's been dead. There's no decay, there's no bacteria growth. The only bloat that I'm getting is from the water itself. I need to cut him open. I need to know.
Right.
Hey.
As one does, yes.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
are we going to do the sled thing, or am I going to fireman carry this guy?
Can I roll engineering to see if I can put together
Yeah,
a very
mechanical
simple-
engineering.
I want to point out, this guy's probably taller than Esmira. She is not a bulky strong. She is a lean strong.
Yeah, he's like maybe 5'7", 5'8".
21.
21? Yeah, easily done. You can fairly simply thread a couple of these tent poles through the sleeves of your jacket and tie them off at the bottom. Makes it easy to move it along for you.
Awesome.
Delphi
Drag
will
him
like
along.
get up towards Dick and just kind of bat her eyelashes for a second. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Again, I'm really impressed. Not only do you really suck at lying, but you're also incredibly technically apt. This is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, Dick's
So-
face is like completely red.
With how well Esmira rolled on that mic check earlier to swim him to shore, I'm not going to make you roll to drag him along. It's pretty simple. But it takes you, as I said, about an hour to get back to where you left your sailors and your NPCs. So by the time you're getting back, it's like around 6 o'clock, so you've got maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half until sundown.
Okay. So do we make ourselves back to where we left them, or are we? So we have to still follow the trail to where they are.
So they haven't moved from where you left them, really, because they did. When you get there and ask, Luke will go, the road splits into 3. We didn't know which way you would want to go, so we just stuck around here.
Oh, by the way, remember what you said about there being no one on the island?
Oh shit, that's a dead guy. Huh.
Yeah. There was also a gunshot.
Cheerful?
No gun.
Uh,
No gunman. But gunshot.
You're okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Alright. Good. Oh, and the rest of them are okay. That's good too. Okay.
And there's a giant submarine on the beach.
Interesting. Yeah, this place just keeps getting more and more interesting. Here I thought we would just be spending the next 2 weeks, I don't know, eating coconuts on the beach or something.
Well, there'll still be time for that.
So
I
yeah,
like
you guys can see this road continues up for maybe 150, 200 meters, and then it splits into 3 distinct routes. One of them curves over to the west, sort of closer towards where you guys saw the submarine, and that edge has more of the sunflower markings. One goes straight ahead and has more of the cartouche markings. One heads to the right and has more of those hooks, the fish hooks on it. Like, they have other things as well, but those are like the most predominant marking on each of the roads.
Which way would take us to the area we guessed would be the best, like, stable campground?
Probably the one marked with sunflowers.
Okay, so let's head that way. If everyone's okay with it.
Works for me.
Okay. Moving up the trail, first of all, Edith, so much easier on the wheelchair. This is like a paved road. Like, yeah, it's a little unsteady in the way that roads that are more old-fashioned can be, but it is eons better than sand. Just so much easier. You head up this road for a while, and the wilted plants are very, very thick all around this road. But you'll notice they never seem to cross the boundary onto the road. Like, they stop exactly at the edge. They don't, like, no leaves fall over, nothing trails over the road. There's nothing that crosses the boundary onto this tiled road. And moving further up, eventually the road comes to an end. You guys have been walking for about 20 minutes, half an hour, when you come to a wide open space. It's like a clearing, mostly dirt, a little bit of just dead leaves, some smashed greenery. There's that strong like chlorophyll scent in the air you get when you've been like doing the weeding or cutting grass or any of those sorts of activities that lead to the destruction of plants. And up ahead you can see two large sort of rectangular pool that seem like they are tiled. They're like set into the ground, but whatever in front of them, some kind of structure, is absolutely covered in wilted greenery, so you can't actually see what it is that this road leads up to, just these reflecting pools that push back that dazzling blue sky, which is now sort of dyed in these pink and red and gold as the sun is going down. Could I get a hearing check from everybody?
Got a 9. Oh wait, no, sorry. 7.
15.
Dirty 20.
7, 15, 20, and
15.
15. Okay, so everyone except Dick. I feel like I say that a lot, but everyone
We love
except
her.
Dick.
She's a bit
You'll
distracted at the moment, okay? It's fine.
Yeah, they're just like puzzling over their notebook, being like, "What do I do? What do I do?" But as you guys are walking along, first of all, it's sundown. You, especially as Mira, who grew up in a fairly tropical location, this should be the time that like the bats are coming out, all of the like nighttime, the moths, the mosquitoes, all of those things. If this was like a nocturnal setting, that's when those things would be coming out. But nothing is moving. You don't hear rustling in the jungle. You don't hear movement. You don't hear anything. Just, and you guys have now, you walked for almost like 45 minutes into the greenery. You can still hear the sound of the surf. Really like this perfect regular shh, shh, all the way through. Even though by all rights, the jungle should have deafened that noise, like muted it just from sheer distance.
I think Asmira is starting to get uncomfortable just because of the lack of the live sounds. Like you said, that would be a normal thing. But it's can I try that gut roll thing? Because I think this is the point where Asmira would start getting uneasy.
Yeah, sure. Give a gut feeling.
That's 15.
15. Look, there's definitely something. Something is not right here. Like, you've got that. Something is not right here. But I think probably with Asmira's background, you would be more like, I think that maybe there is like a malice to this place. Like not something specific that you can point at and be like, that's wrong or that's bad, but you're like, the normal rules don't seem to be applying perfectly. Which makes you think you've... Yeah, something's up, but you haven't got an inkling as to what that something is.
Okay, so just don't relax, but take it as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Start setting up camp.
Yeah, absolutely. So you, all of the more hearty NPCs, so Luann, John, and Dazai, and Luke will all help in setting up camp along with those 4 sailors who are not busy carefully arranging Delphi's luggage. will set up enough tents that each of you only has to share with your NPC, essentially. And then the sailors are also two to a tent, and they go, we'll head off in the morning, get back to the boat, and check as to what's going on there, whether we'll be able to pull the yacht into the bay entirely, or just, head back, get some more supplies for you, because we've only got a few days worth of water and food here, and we don't know where the supplies will be on this island, if they've got a fresh water source or what's going on.
So when we arrived, you described there was a little bit of water. Can we test that to see if it's safe?
So there is water in the pools. How are you going to test it?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Esmira has got the training for survival, so Nicole does not know.
Okay. So I reckon make a naturalist check, and we'll see if Esmira knows how to test it to be completely safe, because she's from the kind of region where pretty much any water, generally, you're like, there's probably going to be something tropical and horrific inside of it, unless it's been declared safe already.
Okay. Do I add the survival?
Yes.
24.
24. Okay, so Esmira heads over to one of the reflecting pools, dips a flask into it that is empty currently, pulls it up, and as you pull it up, you had thought this water was very clear because it was reflecting very beautifully, but as you dip the flask in, you see that there is like a thick sediment at the bottom, and when you disturb the water, it sort of pushes up in pigment. Instead of that perfect clear water, it looks like blood. It's like deep red, this pigment. So the water you pull out is bright red in color.
Oh.
And after a few moments of it being undisturbed, the silt settles back down and it looks perfectly clear again.
Well, that's not good. Can we try and use a piece of cloth to filter out the sediment in the flask?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's everyone else doing as you set up camp?
Go ahead, sorry.
So this is a bit of meta knowledge, being that I am from where Edith is from. We, in Connecticut, we are kind of just like, as children, aggressively taught how to survive in the woods, mostly in like shelter and how to disguise it from like different animals and stuff. I think the biggest thing that Edith would probably do is start trying...
Ooh, can anyone else hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's gone.
Yes.
My bad. My microphone's being weird.
All right, carry on, Jenny. Sorry.
It's all good. Sorry. So we're kind of aggressively taught how to do this using like mud and sticks and leaves and stuff. So she'd probably be doing her best to try and like disguise their camp stuff, just in case of like natural predators or anything like that.
Trying to use the wilted greenery from around the area covering the tent. Okay. Could I have a sight check from you? Or no, survival is probably better. So naturalist.
Well, I was gonna say the fact that you were using sight scares me a little bit, but I can do that. That is a natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, so you look around, you're like, okay, easy enough. There's water nearby, so I can make mud out of the like clayey soil that's around here. Easily done. You slather it all over your canvas tent, and one of the sailors like, oh, I'm gonna have to clean that. And you're like, don't worry about it. Then you head over to the sort of wilted greenery. You find quite a few strange plants, like plants that you've never seen before. One of the ones that sticks out to you is there's this like withered dark red vine that has sort of deep green thorns on it that are very long and nasty, like maybe 4 inches long each and curved backwards. That seems to be like what quite a lot of the undergrowth here is made of. Then there's quite a lot of sort of a more green vine with big, like pendulous-looking leaves that again are all like withered in and broken up. then there are a few of what look like, maybe it's like a night blooming jasmine, but a much larger flower that are currently closed, so they'll probably open soon. If they're alive enough to open, you're sort of unsure looking at the state of the greenery here. And other than that, there's a lot of like tropical stuff. So as someone from, Northern America, you're probably, a lot of it is very unfamiliar and you're not really sure what will break easily, what will come off. But you manage to gather yourself a big double armful of like sticks and vines and different sizes of leaf to do some impromptu survival covering of your tent.
Nice.
All right, and what's Delphi up to? I feel like I know, but I'm going to ask anyway.
I know Dick wanted to talk, so
I was just gonna say, Dick is going to go talk with. I'm drawing a blank on character names.
You mean
Jenny's
identify?
character?
Okay. So
What was your character's name again? Edith, thank you.
Edith, yeah.
Brain went completely blank. Yeah, Dick.
It's all right. It's not a name that's used very often anymore.
It's fair.
Also forget her name sometimes, and I have to look at the stream.
I've got a fun little cheat sheet.
That is good. I should make one of those. Anyways, she goes to go talk to her, and it's like, so a lot's happened. That the whole thing on the beach was kind of a lot. You seem really smart, though. What's your take on all of this?
All of this? What do you mean? There's a lot of different things going on.
I mean, the dead guy, there was the submarine, there's no bugs, there's no dead fish. It's all... I just have sort of a bad feeling about this whole place.
Yeah, the excitement is kind of accompanied with a bit of a twisting, but I mean, there's only one way to figure out the truth, and that's to dive kind of headfirst into it, so...
That makes sense.
Also, if you know stuff, you don't have to hide it.
What do you mean?
You know more than you're letting
In the
on.
background, you see John facepalm.
Literally what I was picturing in my head. Sorry, you were saying.
You don't have to hide anything or pretend like you're not knowledgeable on this stuff. Like, it's okay. I don't think anyone here is gonna judge that.
They might if there's some things that this particular group of people probably would not care to know about my past.
Honest with you, your pronunciation when sounding out the words on that submarine was, from what I understand, really good. So if you happen to know that kind of stuff, it would be really helpful to know.
And Dick's gonna look around to see if anyone else is like within earshot or seems to be like actively listening to this conversation.
So you will know, as a matter of course, John tends to be listening to your conversation, so he can try and like jump in if you get stuck. But for our other PCs, do you think that either of them are trying to listen in?
always.
I just love the shaking head and then the always.
Oh,
All
first
right,
of all,
let's have
T. Second of all, Edith is talking.
Let's have a blend
I
in.
want to be listening. I want to be listening, but there is blood water.
I want to blend in from Delphi to see if she can stealthily sort of just happen to be leaning against a nearby tent pole and listening. And I'll take a sight from Dick to see if they can spot her.
All right.
That's a 22.
Oh my god. It's a 16 on sight.
Okay. No one's listening. You're fine.
Oh, thank God for that. So yeah, Dick is going to kind of, do the side-eyeing everywhere. Like, so I may not be 100% honest about my background. I do know some things,
Yeah.
like I took several years of a language course in Russian, as it happens to be. So that's how I knew it was on the submarine. But some people get kind of nervous around other people who speak Russian. So thought it best to just kind of play it off.
She's like squinting just a little bit. You something, and you don't have to reciprocate at all. But my parents immigrated from Ireland. People don't really like my family very much either. But that doesn't make me or my parents any less of a good person. Just information for you to hold.
As you are saying this very nice thing, it doesn't make me any less of a good person, John steps in and says, or any more of a righteous American citizen, correct? Yes,
Sure,
it's
yeah.
a great shame for us that we are originally from a place near Russia. My brain just suggested Ukraine, and I'm like, I'm not saying that. But I thought from Czechoslovakia, which, of course, has now been swallowed by the horrific Soviet war machine. I spit on them. But it makes people judgmental of us, is, I think, what my partner is trying to say.
So, right before John says all of that, Dick's face just looks like she's having this sudden wave of relief, like she's almost gonna cry, and then John steps in and she just kind of clears her throat. Exactly. Yeah. What my assistant here said.
And as I'm listening in, can I just try to roll some empathy as a form of an insight check?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just waiting for John to say, go proletariat, down with communism.
19?
19. So I think you catch Dick's relief and then her very quickly putting those shields back up when John speaks. You get absolutely nothing off John. Like, he is a blank wall. He looks vaguely disapproving and sad, but he's looked that way for the past 19 hours. So
I'm so glad that Dick is here because I never have to look at John. I just see how Dick responds to John to know if he's lying. Anyway, please do continue.
So yeah, Dick clams up pretty quick, just kind of like, yeah, that's what he said.
Regardless, I think you're pretty cool. So, we should probably get back to what we were doing with the camp. But remember what I said. I'm not judging you based on where you came from.
Yeah, Dick is an absolute just tumultuous ball of existential dread and gay panic in this moment.
She's just gonna reach over and just pat her arm, and then kind of
girl said she was cool, but John's right there. Yeah, she's having a rough time, but she nods in appreciation.
I think that's probably when Esmera comes back with the weird water.
Okay, that's good timing.
So, did we manage to get the salt out?
Filtering it through, you got a lot of it out, but the water is still like faintly pink.
I don't think this water is going to do us any good.
Delphine, give me a medicine check.
Can do.
Oh look, it's one of my best stats.
I love that for you.
I don't know shit.
Was that a nat one?
All your stuff went to charisma.
Listen, no, she's really good at this. She's just better with people and like the immediate people and not things that might be good or bad for people.
So you look at the water and you're like, that water looks vaguely familiar. Anyway, there was a dead body around here. I'll get back to this water thing later.
Yeah. She might like idly like kind of look over. Does I? Looks weird. And then head over to the body.
It does look weird. And he sort of just shakes his head. It looks like the filtration wasn't completely successful, and it also looks a bit like a wound cleaning bath after the wound has been cleaned. Not ideal. I wouldn't advise drinking it. And he sort of nods sharply and goes back to unpacking his suitcase.
We'll just pour out the flask. We're going to have to find a clear water source, though.
All right, so is Delphi getting down to an autopsy? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is going to be a medicine check plus mortician.
Okay. Also, I think I've been rolling it correctly, but I want to check. When adding a profession, run me through it one more time.
So you roll your d20, you add your skill, and then you add your points in your profession on top of the skill.
Cool. I have been doing it right. Thank you.
Yes. No problem. It's a new system. We'll all take a little while to get to know it. Except Raven, who knows it very well.
I hope so.
Played it once or twice.
Honestly, Raven could just be like, no, this is how it works, and have nothing about it written in the book. And we'd all be like, yep.
Raven's like, this is how it works. And I'm like, well, I'm the GM, so I say.
Hey, it even says in the book, I can't remember what page off the top of my head, but it says somewhere in the book that, like, if you're the GM, you're the storyteller, like, take from this what works for you and do whatever you want. So
I will. Thank you for the permission, but I was going to do it anyway.
You're welcome.
All right, how did Delphi's check go?
I know bodies so well. It's a 26.
26. Okay. So
You are better with people.
You've found yourself a clear spot to do this autopsy on. You begin getting down to the work of it. And again, there's no smell. He just smells kind of salty because of the ocean water. His lungs are full of water. That's sort of what you expected. The weird thing is, when it comes to stomach contents, his stomach's all shriveled up, like he hasn't eaten in a while. The only thing you find in that are a couple of, like, mostly digested chunks of coconut. Nothing else. Looks like he hasn't slept in a long time, like he's got, like, big bags under his eyes. Also, his stomach is, like, and his intestine, you're like, the things aren't digesting properly. You're not sure why, like, you would need more advanced science to know why, but you're like, this isn't right.
Hey guys.
And yet he drowned.
Just as an aside, for anyone who might need food ever in their life, you might not want to eat anything from here.
Good to know. So,
Are you cutting up a dead body next to where we were going to prepare food?
Pick another spot to prepare food.
Pick another spot to cut up a dead body.
Well, he's open now.
I can't exactly reverse time. It's happened, it's done. Find somewhere else to prepare food.
All right, sew him back up. We'll drag him over there. We'll cut him back open again.
Claim the spot if you don't want autopsies done. This is just common sense.
Oh my god.
I think Dazai will speak up and go, my apologies, Ms. Lopez, but this is the best place to organize for if we do need to do something like a surgery or an autopsy. The ground is the flattest here. It's downwind of most of the camp, so you won't get any strange smells coming back up. I would advise picking a different spot for food preparation. You picked the right place, Delphinia.
I'm gonna start moving things, but like it's literally that thing of, it's like walk up. Oh, what is wrong with these people?
You're doing great. I'm sure whatever spot you'll pick is gonna be great. Food will be good for consumption, just not any we find here. Look what it does to stomachs.
Edith is going to be drawing with her nose like about 3 inches away from her journal, so that she doesn't have to see any of this.
Esmira strangely does not have like a super bad reaction to the fact that there is a dead body. It's more like the inconvenience of it being near where we're gonna eat. So like when you go, oh, look at the stomach, she's just like,
Dick is sort of like in between those two positions. Like she's really interested in what's happening because she's never seen this done before. But she's also kind of weirded out by, you know, the whole guts and the inside of a person. So she just sort of has a hand over her mouth and is watching like, Yep, that's fascinating.
Oh, here, come here. And she'll like very carefully take off the gloves she had. She'll fish out a like handkerchief and some smelling salts. She'll hand it over to Dick. Put that over your mouth. It'll make it a lot easier. And then come on, I can show you some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen a heart? They're super cool. And she'll go back.
It's amazing. So yeah, the smelling salts help a lot.
Okay.
So Dick's just excitedly watching, but also, you know, every once in a while having to swallow really hard not to
Wretch?
get sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. I want a physical fortitude check from Dick.
That's fair.
I think Delphi's too used to it, but
Do not
Oh,
throw
thank
up
God for
into
that.
the body.
If you're gonna throw
No.
up, there's a little bit of a slope over there that should just, you know, just in case.
I got a
Boats
23.
throw up into the body.
you're okay.
Awesome.
Dick is actually made of stronger stuff than you would think from
Yeah.
first meeting.
Yeah,
It's that Russian stuff. I mean, totally American fortitude.
Yeah, yeah.
Even brings up spy. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Grew up in New Jersey is fine.
Can't you tell by my clearly New Jerseyan accent?
New Jersey,
I thought you were from Nebraska.
It's a tiny town called New Jersey, but it's in Nebraska.
As Delphi very specifically brings Dick a little bit closer, gonna cast a glance out, and then keep her voice down so that, in theory, only Dick will be able to hear, and just, so, it's good to know that you're not from the United States.
What are you talking about? Of course I am. Who told you I wasn't?
He's gonna look over, holding the spleen, just like, you're gonna keep lying to me? Okay, that's fine. I'll just talk at you then. She looks like genuinely offended for like 2 seconds and like, that's fine. She has a spleen.
Actually, I think if you're gonna ask that question and in that tone while holding a human spleen, Dick is just gonna break her. Okay, fine. I won't lie anymore. I'm not from America.
Awesome. Neither are my parents. So You might hold on. Can you scooch to the side? I need to get the thing.
Yep.
Thanks. And she's like rummaging around in this man, to like acquire more bits as she's talking. All right.
I need to get the thing. Pulls out the large intestine.
Yeah, essentially. And she's like, okay, I need the kidney. Give me the kidney. And she kind of sort of faces Dick, but not really. She's definitely more focused on the body. I'm so sorry. And
As one does.
So I overheard, can't help it. You talking to Edith about some things. And I was just wondering, why you're lying so poorly, I might add.
I had very little training.
In what?
Lying. So I have like a job. It's like a secret job. But they didn't train me very well, and they kind of rushed
Can you give
me
me a
through it.
luck roll? So just a D20,
Yeah.
and tell me if it's below or above 10.
It is below.
Below.
John's gonna kill
So
Dick.
just as you start to like open up, you feel a heavy hand come down on your shoulder. And looking around, there he is. It's John again, being like, haha, a secret job. Yes, she wants to be a stand-up comedian, but I keep telling her there's no money in it because she is very bad at saying what she's meant to be saying. Anyway, it is very late at night. We are going to have dinner and turn in, aren't we, Dick?
Can I accidentally throw the kidney at him?
You can't. He does not respond.
It's like a wet slap.
Yeah.
Sorry. It happens.
Oh,
It happens. But he does not respond to a human kidney hitting him in the face, other than to pull out a handkerchief and wipe his face.
yeah. Dick has lost all sense of emotional compass right now. She just went from being attracted to Delphi, to being incredibly intimidated, to being the best thing I can think of to describe it would be, as Futurama put it, scare-roused, to being terrified because John's hand is on her shoulder. So she's a bit of a mess at the moment.
Scare-rousified.
Delphi will understand that this conversation is over, and will lean over, give like a little peck on the cheek to Dick, and then go back to like rummaging around to this man's body. We'll pick up the kidney, dust it off.
She's just dead. It just falls right over.
So the sun has gone down, so you've lost the light. You try to work for a little while by lamplight, but eventually you kind of have to admit defeat. There's only so much you can do, and anyone will tell you who has been out in a jungle, when it gets dark, it gets very, very dark. The stars are incredibly bright overhead. There's a crescent moon, for those of you who care about such things.
Waxing
And,
or
you know-
waning?
Waxing. And as you sort of eat your dinner, which is a lot of, dried food that has been rehydrated the way that many supplies that come from afar are, and turn in for the evenings, I'd like to know if you have any quiet conversations with your NPC friends as you settle down to sleep that night, or if it is, we spent all day running up and down the beach, finding dead bodies and dealing with a Soviet submarine. I'm going straight to bed.
I think Edith's too excited about being on an actual adventure to go to sleep anytime soon.
So is it just Edith telling Luann everything that happened, even though Luann was there the whole time, while her friend is doing the equivalent of like some crochet or like fixing something, or like
Or
that
she's
kind of
definitely
energy?
fixing like some sort of leather like strap or some shit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think Edith is like going over her notes and kind of talking at Luann? And Luann's doing this very practice, like, that's nice. Which has just been their repertoire since, they've known each other.
Cute. We will come back to you.
Yeah.
Right. Nicole, what are you doing?
I think because of that, just that feeling of unease, Esmira is relaxing by the fire pit with whichever sailors are still awake, and Luke probably is there as well. So it's a very casual, light conversation. It's not about what they've seen. It's not about the day. It's joking and laughing, that kind of, not quite feeling like comfortable enough to go to sleep yet, but don't want to alarm anyone.
Would you like to get the names of the sailors?
Yes, please. Tell me who they are.
I shall. Get attached to them so I can kill them off.
Okay.
So you get introduced to Mike.
Mike?
Yep. Donut. So they're all just giving you like their nicknames, what people call them. Dex. Then there's just a guy called Harry who doesn't have a nickname. And he clearly feels a little left out because everyone else has a nickname. Theo. And then you've also got John, but everyone calls him Corky. And then you've got a guy whose name is Connor Phillips, but the people call him Kosciuszko. And apparently it's a very long story that they will tell you later over a bottle of rum. But for now, just get into it.
So Mike, John, Dex, Connor, Kosciuszko.
Yep.
Harry.
And Corky.
And Corky. John is Corky.
Yep.
Okay.
And they're mixed bag. Some are Americans, some are from Britain. One of them is Australian, so it's just a big mix of people. They all seem to have sort of fallen into sailing after their time in the war and ended up working in like various private endeavors, and thus ending up on this trip.
So it's just literally making that casual conversation and light talking. It's all the actual important people have gone to their tents. The working class are going to have chat.
Yeah. Okay, and Delphi?
Delphi is wide awake. A little peeved that she wasn't able to finish what she started. But otherwise, still at peace, still in good spirits. She's at her tent. Probably like lounging around with Dazai, idly playing around with his hair, like getting it little braids and stuff, while absolutely talking this man's ear off. And it's mostly the most unimportant shit. Any of the big stuff that happened, not mentioned a single time. The color of this like grain of sand she saw, like the slight waft of like a specific flower, how pretty Edith and Dick are, how much she's getting along with absolutely everyone. It's all the little absolutely stupid unimportant shit.
I think interestingly, in contrast to where Edith is talking about really important stuff and Luann is just like not quite blanking but not really responding, Dazai is like, that's so fascinating. What kind of flower did you think it was? The African or the American variety? Like, he's in it with you. 100%. You're like, I think Dick's really pretty, and Dazai's like, I would not know, but I'm very happy for you.
At one point, she does mention, she's like, okay, I really want to figure out how to be friends with Esmira. I don't know if she likes me, but I think I can fix that with a few, like, well-timed gifts. Do you think I could do that?
I think she seems like the sort of woman who is not impressed by gifts or speech, but more by actions. So simply show her what a good person you are and how interesting you are to be around, and she'll come around. And he, like, pats her on the hand.
So I should dig something up in front of her? Do you...
No.
I did an autopsy in front of her. That's kind of... I don't...
Delphinia, no, this is about emotional connection. We've had this conversation before.
I can try.
You can try. And really, that's all anyone can ask for.
Yeah.
Then we hard cut from emotional support father figure to Dick's tent. What do you think's happening there, Raven?
Oh, Dick is having.
Has John had to pull out the flashcards again?
No, I think Dick has just. Oh, I am exhausted. I'm gonna go to sleep right this second. And she's just having an existential crisis, and rethinking a lot of things about her life right now. Just so many things about her life.
Amazing.
The internal monologue is something like, "Why did they make me a spy? Why did they make me a spy? I didn't want to be a spy. I wanted to be a writer, but I just had to walk in at the wrong time and see the wrong people doing the wrong things."
Okay. I would like all of our PCs to make a gut feeling check. The sun is down, the moon is high.
Ooh.
It's maybe 2 a.m. at this point. Everyone is turned in.
I got a 22.
24.
22, 24.
3.
3.
18.
18. I mean, it makes sense. Delphi seems distracted with her conversation. Everyone else, you're lying down, you're at least getting ready to fall asleep if you haven't been asleep. And again, you all hear that shush of the waves coming in and out and in and out. And you realize that your breathing has sort of set itself to the tune of the waves. And then you realize that the sound you're hearing isn't waves. It is the sound of massive lungs inflating, deflating, breathing in and out from somewhere inside the island. And that is where we're going to leave our stream for this week.
That's
That's
pleasant.
just downright unsettling.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yes. Indeed,
I'm
it
loving
is
this.
downright unsettling.
Oh my god, everyone's gonna wake up tomorrow like, oh, that was so weird. Delphi,
So
Wake up. You presuming we're going to sleep after that?
Delphi wakes up in the morning and is like, I slept amazingly. How did you guys sleep? But thank you everyone for tuning in to watch our first episode. Hopefully you come back for the second episode. We're going to with hopefully having solved a code over the week and finding out some information. And the last thing I'm actually going to leave you with is not that breathing sound, but the other sound that I think that probably it will be, who did we have the highest roll from for that gut feeling check? We had someone who had like a 24. Yes, so it will be you who hears
Oh, fun
this.
times.
And let me just grab that for you because it is like a Morse code type pattern of different dots. But instead of Morse code, this is something that all of your characters will be aware of. It's something called tap code, which is used instead of Morse code when people are in prison next to each other and they need to tap messages through and don't have the ability to do long sounds, only short ones. So we have some tap sounds that happen. And I am going to get you guys to note this down. But Esmera, you will hear tap, tap, and then a small break. And then tap, 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 and then a small break. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. So I will copy paste that for people to figure out over the course of the week. And when we come back next week, some mysteries will hopefully have been solved by our industrious players in between sessions.
You just want me sleep deprived and crazy with a machete.
Yes. So yes, thank you so much for everybody. if we can have our players do little outros. Myself, as I said, I am Ran. I am a game designer. I am a writer. You can find my information. There will be something popped in the chat there. I just wrote a new system that is available for download on my Ko-fi if anybody likes those sorts of things. Let's go around and do our outros.
Jenny, you just saw me playing Edith. I had a super fun time. This system is awesome, and I'm really enjoying myself. You can find me on Fridays on the Nerdsmith stream Dragon's Crown as well, where I play a very different character. I am a voice actor and a character artist. I do commissions. You can find me on Twitter at CeruleanSiren19. I sometimes get notifications when I get messages, and sometimes I don't. We'll see what happens. I am also on the podcast Jar of Rebuke. It just released another episode yesterday. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts. And that's what I have.
Hi everybody, I'm Nicole. I play Esmira. You can normally find me stalking my friends because I have no real social media presence outside of gaming. But on Saturdays, you can catch me and a fellow player here in Vampire the Endless Nights. You can find us on Twitter, you can find us on TikTok, and we play on Twitch every Saturday night with a bunch of absolute lunatics.
Hi, I'm Raven. Again, I use she and Faye pronouns. And you've seen me playing Dick Jones, the American private investigator that we're a little less sure about being actually a private investigator from America.
He was born in Nebraska.
Yeah, they're
New
from
Jersey, Nebraska.
New Jersey, Nebraska. New Jersey, Nebraska.
or Czechoslovakia. We're not quite sure now. But I am a professional game master and game designer. I also do voice acting and various other things in the tabletop space. I am not streaming much right now. Kind of on a hiatus from streaming because I streamed nonstop for like 4 years. But I'm hoping to get back into doing more of that soon. The system that we used is Fundamental RPG. It looks like this. You can find it over on my coffee. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky, it's just the Raven, all one word, but 2 V's. So RAVVYN instead of just 1 V. And that's me.
I am Vexomniari. I use he, they pronouns. You can find me absolutely everywhere at Vexomniari, including Discord, and my email. Feel free to shoot me an email if you want, or to add me on Discord, like that's fine. But you can find me here. You can find me over at Dinner and a Game on Tuesdays, and soon every other Friday. And you can find me on Meister Hypster's Twitch, playing Vampire the Masquerade Endless Nights. I play a somewhat similar character, though definitely less morbid than this one. But yeah.
Great. Yeah. Again, thank you to my players for playing and to viewers for viewing. You can see us next week as we figure out what is up with the breathing and the jungle and the Russian submarine. At the same time, which I believe is Thursdays, 6 p.m. PST in America, or if you're in Australia like me, it's Fridays at midday on in Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Thank you all very much. Have a great day. Don't die.